I've just travelled along the 10.25 mile Lakes line, which runs between Oxenholme and the terminus here at Windermere. The Kendal and Windermere Railway, as it was known, was opened in 1847 and is the first and only surviving railway to serve the heart of the Lake District. There was a relentless campaign to keep the railways out of the Lake District. Opposition was largely founded in a belief that ordinary people would not be able to appreciate the beauty of the lakes and would probably willfully ruin the place. The poet laureate William Wordsworth was a key figure in the anti-train lobby before his death in 1850. At first, Windermere Station stood alone, with only the Windermere Hotel nearby, but the lake soon became an attractive destination for visitors. These original archive photographs show the extensive track layout at the station, which had 4 platforms along with a goods yard. This is a lovely photograph of an LMS Stanier Class Black 5 locomotive at the original Windermere station. By the time this photograph was taken in 1976, 3 of the tracks were taken out of use when the branch was reduced to a 1-train operation single line as an economy measure. In 1986, the single track was cut back to a new truncated station following the demolition of the train shed and the building of a supermarket, which incorporates the facade and canopy of the original station. Today, you can only stand and wonder what it would have been like to walk through these doors and enter such a grand railway station. In my Victorian Railway Handbook, George Bradshaw said, "From Windermere Station, the lake appears in view, with its beautiful islands and grassy, well-wooded fells around its borders." Well, I think Bradshaw would have been disappointed with the view from the station today. There's no view of the lake, and he described that so passionately in his handbook as the first thing the visitor sees when stepping off the train at Windermere Station. Just a short walk from the station, I was thrilled to find this row of cottages that were built for railway executives in 1849 and is said to have been designed by the architect Augustus Pugin. And one of the fireplaces in the cottages is a copy of one of his in the Palace of Westminster. Well, I've left the crowds at Windermere Station behind me and travelled 5 minutes back up the line to the next station, which is Staveley. And there are 41 steps from the main road leading up to the station platform. The Lakes Line could not sustain its importance without leisure traffic, and this declined significantly during the 1960s to the extent that the route was reduced to a single line back in 1973. You can see here the remains of the down platform that was used to carry passengers between this station and Windermere when the route was double-tracked. Staveley is the gateway to the spectacular Kentmere Valley, and there's been a station on this site since April 1847. To this day, the station is well supported by the local community, and there's an hourly service between Windermere and Oxenholme, with a few of those services extending to Lancaster, Preston and Manchester. The next stop up the line is Burnside Station. This black and white photograph from the 1960s shows the original staggered platform layout at Burnside, and here you can see the remnants of the down platform as it is today. The small village of Burnside is on the River Kent and marks the route of the Dales Way Walk, which runs for 78 miles from Ilkley in West Yorkshire to Bowness on Windermere in Cumbria. As was the case at Staveley, there's also been a station here since April 1847, and for very nearly 100 years the station had a connection to the Burnside Paper Mills tramway. Burnside Station had goods sidings and a goods yard for freight services, and this continued until freight services ended on the line in 1972. Just a short walk from the station and I found these original tracks from the former railway goods yard, which are now in the driveway of houses that have been built on the site. Regular viewers of my YouTube channel will know that as well as station clocks and signal boxes, I have an interest in level crossings. And there's a crossing here just down the track from Burnside Station that warrants a closer look. It's an automatic open crossing which is locally monitored by the train driver. As it's an open crossing and in the interests of safety, there is just a 5 mph speed restriction for trains on approach. This crossing, which is on the other end of the platform in the up direction, is predominantly used by foot passengers, but also by local residents along a private driveway. Residents wishing to bring their vehicles across must first telephone the signaller to ensure it is safe to do so. Well, I'm going to hop on board the next train that comes along to take me to the final intermediate station on the line at Kendal. My final stop along the Lakes line is here at Kendal, which my Bradshaw's guide says is principally engaged in the carpet, woolen, linsey, worsted, clog, comb, bobbin, fishhook, leather, rope, woolen cord, fruit trades and marble works. Perhaps most of all, Kendal is famous for its energy-boosting confectionery, the Kendal Mint Cake. There's been a station here since September 1846, when it was the temporary terminus of the Lancaster and Carlisle Railway, but through trains to Windermere commenced from the spring of 1847. When the station first opened in 1846, there was only a temporary wooden shelter, but this was replaced in 1860 with this grand and majestic station. There was great excitement and rejoicing at the town's railway station. A public holiday was declared. Shops were closed and flags hoisted on the town hall and the castle, and a large crowd had gathered to greet the arrival of Kendal's first train. Here you can see patriotic crowds at the station cheering volunteer soldiers on their return from the Boer War in 1902. Although Kendal was an industrial centre, growing affluence and increasing car ownership soon brought a downturn in the line's fortunes, with the last through train from London being withdrawn in 1970. The second platform at the station was taken out of use when the line was singled in May 1973, and a car park now occupies the site of the demolished Oxenholme bound platform, along with the original signal box and goods depot. There's a great view from Kendal station looking towards the West Coast Main Line and this GB rail freight service heading north to Moss End Euro Terminal. As my train pulls into Oxenholme station, it's easy to see that the railway really did bring significant change to the whole area that was served by the Lakes Line. Despite the line having gone into decline during the 1960s, 70s and 80s, it's really gratifying to see that the number of rail services have improved over recent times, with a significant increase in patronage. Join me next time when I'll be at my local station at Gretna Green as we prepare to welcome one of Britain's most celebrated trains, the Statesman, which is travelling between Ayr and Scarborough on a special excursion. With its distinctive cream and umber livery and beautifully restored vintage Pullman carriages, the Statesman exudes elegance and refinement. This was also the final weekend of closures on the West Coast Main Line due to track realignment work at Carstairs, so we'll also be seeing a number of other diverted services through Gretna Green. For more videos, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Stephen Bennett's Railway Adventures.